Here we go. First maiden voyage out of the county. So we're headed over the mountain and to the east side of Oregon.
We're about to undertake 450 miles of driving, so
we're excited.
Hello, friends. We are 4 life adventure buddies, best friends, mother and daughter, and 2 wonder pups on a journey to find, appreciate, and share daily wonders and joys with the world. We are transitioning from a lifestyle based in a regular house into a traveling wooden tiny house RV. We have been busy turning our longtime dreams into our reality. It hasn't all been easy, though with a daily commitment to ourselves to seek out and appreciate wonders, we are learning that life really can be wonder-filled if we appreciate all the little and big wonderments along the way. We have been pouring a lot of effort into transforming this wooden tiny house on wheels into our inspiring, non-toxic, and healthy home. We finally moved into our tiny house on a farm in Northwest Washington with spectacular mountain views. We weathered winter storms, marveled at wonderment-inspiring migrating birds, and completed more tiny house DIY projects. Now we are heading out on our first big road trip in our journey to Tiny House America as creative digital nomads. As adventurers, filmmakers, artists, dancers, teachers, and writers on a mission to share inspiring wonders with the world, we have a whole lot of wonderment and tiny house adventures to share with you.
going on a trip like we're about to go on has been something we've been working towards for a very long time. From the beginning of planning our house and how our house was going to be designed and how it was going to be able to be moved, to then all of the work we've been doing on our house. So being able to finally say we are leaving our home territory here in Whatcom and Skagit County, and we are going to go on a big trip. This is big. We've been working towards this for a very long time.
Today is about the wonderment of moving our house.
The sheer mechanics and workings of an automobile is certainly wonderment inspiring whenever you really think about it, even though many of us drive trucks and cars every day and it seems quite ordinary. Though today, we aren't just driving in a vehicle like any other day. We are towing our home behind us. We are towing our tiny house on wheels out on the open roads. And what we've been talking about and dreaming about has become ultra real life. This tiny house is all we have. It's our full-time home, and the responsibility that comes with towing anything, let alone something of this weight and dimension, is significant. Our 2011 Ford F-350 diesel dually truck was built to work hard and tow big rigs, and towing our tiny house is safely within its towing capabilities. Yet still, there is the anxious feeling within us about what is towing our tiny house through cities, over mountains, and around the country going to actually feel like. Today, we are officially beginning our journey to Tiny House America.
We're in our trip, our long-awaited trip. We've been working towards being able to head out on a trip like this with our house for a long time. And here we go.
Have you ever planned and prepared for something so long that when it finally happens, it's difficult to believe it's actually happening? Well, that's what we are experiencing today as we depart on our first big road trip. Every mile we drive, every look into the side view mirror to see our home following along behind us, every time we bounce after going over a bump in the road, makes the whole experience of traveling with our tiny house more and more real.
First bumper-to-bumper traffic while towing our house. Yes, we're in the Seattle area.
We are doing it. We are making our dreams a reality. We are tiny house dwellers embarking on a journey with our traveling wooden tiny house on wheels. We know that we are in for a whole lot of new experiences, and because of that, whole new wonderments to appreciate and challenges to overcome. Our tiny house on wheels is essentially like a regular RV or fifth wheel trailer, even though it does look different. Call it a tiny house or call it a custom wooden RV. When we are driving down the road, we look a bit different than other RVers. We didn't create a wooden tiny house to be different or stand out. We created a wooden, traveling home on wheels so we could live in a space we loved, felt inspired by, and dreamt of living in for years. Now, here we are, towing our home on wheels on the open roads. Ready or not, world? Here we come.
We're headed up over the mountains. Our first mountain pass with our tiny house.
Here we go, up into the Cascade Mountains, our first mountain pass of towing our tiny home on wheels. This may be our first mountain pass towing our gooseneck tiny house up and over, though this certainly isn't the first mountain we have climbed on our journey to get to this point. From initial planning stage of going tiny through to this momentous day, we have climbed so many metaphorical mountains in our tiny house journey. The months of research and planning that finally culminated in finding an RVIA certified tiny home custom RV builder, to negotiating and working out build details in a foreign country with a different currency during a global pandemic, to then doing loads and loads of custom do-it-yourself work and modifications in and around our house, to downsizing our possessions and moving into a small space, to figuring out day-to-day logistics of life on wheels, we have climbed mountain after mountain of hurdles and challenges. The metaphorical road to this point has been anything but easy, and yet it got us to where we are today, stronger and even more determined and empowered in our own abilities. Today, we are seeing not mountains of work and challenges, the real mountains of immense natural beauty and wonder.
So pretty! Mountains! Snow! Wonderment! We're in the mountains with our house on wheels.
There is something so raw and beautiful about being in the mountains. The forests, the rock cliffs, the snow-capped peaks, the change of elevation, the rugged landscapes that stir our souls, feed our inner adventurer selves, and connects us with nature we love and cherish. These mountains inspire us to feel immense appreciation for what we have accomplished in our tiny house journey so far, as well as great wonderment for this remarkable planet Earth we so love.
In 2 miles, take exit 85 for Washington 970 north toward Wenatchee.
We pull into our first day's destination in Cle Elum, Washington, which is Drew Brew Brewery, a Harvest Host location. This is our first Harvest Host stay as part of a membership program that invites self-contained RVers to have unique overnight stays. We parked in our dedicated safe parking spot for the night and went inside to buy a brewery crafted root beer and a ginger ale. We drank our refreshing and celebrative drinks while playing a couple rounds of cornhole. It becomes clear we have some practice to do before we become Cornhole League World Champions. Guess you have to start somewhere.
We're too young to talk about forever. Talk about the weather to know any better. I just want to laugh until I can't breathe. Midnight moonlight dancing, never get enough sleep. Oh, the whole night through. And we could count the
That was a close one. Your first point!
I got a point. There's only a handicap of 3 steps.
We did our first big travel day with our home on wheels. And now we're going to spend the night at a Harvest Host location here in Cleveland, Washington, Drew Brewery.
We just had a great root beer. They make their own root beer as well as all these different really cool craft beers. Fresh raspberry.
So all of these clothes were hanging on this bar when we left this morning. And now they're on the ground. I guess it was one of those bumps. All of them came off. They're swallows, like little falcons, swooping all around, eating bugs. Tough to film, but beautiful wonders to watch. That was a crow. Day number 2.
We're on the road again.
Yes, it's fairly early morning, about 6:30, and we're headed out for our next leg of our journey. So now we're gonna go fuel up.
The sun on my skin and scream. We don't wanna grow old. We just wanna be young. Ooh, that sugar sweet. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion. All that good emotion. Just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion. Loving this devotion. Live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time. Taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights. I've got to run this show. You always take
saw an osprey nest with little heads sticking out of it. It's so beautiful driving here along the Yakima River. Wonderments abound.
My heart's been ripped wide open. So many mixed emotions. It's like I finally noticed I've been set free. I've been set free. I spent a lifetime running, fearing what I'd become if I stopped playing goalie on all of my thoughts, yeah. Speaking out straight from my heart, but now I see. Oh, I see this love is taking over, breaking through my chest and overflowing. With every single beat, it pulls me closer, closer to you. I'm never gonna hold back being someone to lean on. I'll always be that two-way phone call when you need one. When everything in life is getting harder to shoulder, I'll be your soldier. My heart's been ripping wide open, 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 wide open. My heart's been ripping wide open, 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 wide open. No words enough to show it. Now my whole world's in motion. I feel like Fred, but in my neighborhood, yeah. Call me and I will make sure to set you free. To set you free. Oh, I see this.
We just crossed the Columbia River and now we're officially in Oregon. We're bringing our house to a new state. It's second state. Over bumpy roads and all. So we're in Oregon. Woo-hoo!
Never gonna hold back being someone to lean on. I'll always be that two-way phone call when you need one.
We just saw pelicans. They were beautiful. They were big, white with black tips on their wings. We just saw pelicans. Wonder abounds when you're open to noticing. Just saw a magpie at Eastside Wonderment. Ducks! We just saw some ducks.
Oh, I see this love is taking over, breaking through my chest and overflowing. With every single beat, it pulls me closer, closer to you. I'm never gonna hold back being someone to lean on. I'll always be that two-way phone call when you need one. When everything in life is getting harder to shoulder, I'll be your soldier. My heart's been ripping wide open, 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 wide open. My heart's been ripping wide open, 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 wide open.
We just filled up with diesel in our truck at our first big and busy truck stop. And the process went well.
As we drive and tow our traveling tiny house through this ever-changing landscape, we feel great wonderment and gratitude for all the pieces of our life that brought us to where we are and what we are doing today. We are only driving here today with our wooden home following behind because of all the steps we've climbed to turn our dreams into real-life happenings. We are turning our dream story into our real-life story. Turning our dreams into a reality has required a lot of bravery in doing things we've never ever done before, resourceful thinking to navigate challenges, and creative actions to make progress and beauty at the same time. It didn't all happen overnight, though rather through a whole lot of experiences of our own and others. We are who we are today because of everything we've ever done and made be important in our lives and for all the people who have inspired, challenged, assisted, and loved us.
A view that inspires great wonderment.
As we head into the Blue Mountains of Northeast Oregon, we feel their beautiful splendor emanate through our bodies. Driving through these mountains feels like a great gift bestowed upon us after everything we've gone through to be able to return to these mountains with our traveling tiny house in tow. These mountains and hills hold an esteemed place in our hearts and minds. Perhaps it is because they are the mountains I grew up near. Perhaps it is their great rolling natural beauty, or perhaps it is because for so many peoples and animals through the centuries, these mountains and hills were important and loved. No matter the reason or why, this area stirs inside us great reverence and wonderment. As we travel up, over, through, and eventually down these mountains, we feel like we are traveling through a magical place where anything is possible. Call it magical or call it wonderment, though what we feel touches us deeply to our core, and we are in awe. The stories these mountains could tell are as beautiful, diverse, and as complicated as they are for me to tell you about today. These mountains beg me to say that does one have to know all the details of a story to know the story is special and sacred? Oregon's Blue Mountains are special and sacred to us, and we certainly are not the first people to make such a remark. These mountains, these trees, the mountain meadows, the creeks, streams, and rivers, the diverse flora and many, many different kinds of animals that call these mountains home were important to people centuries ago who cared deeply for and depended upon these mountains. It seems if you look close enough, listen truly, and feel deeply, the sacred stories of these mountains can be felt with all of the senses, and isn't that a great wonderment? Here we are, two wonderment seekers towing our wooden tiny house on wheels behind us as we traverse this mountain pass full of dreams, immense natural beauty, countless stories, and many awe-inspiring wonderments. It is clear this is not just the first road trip with our traveling tiny house, though rather a journey to seek and find the wonderments in our lives that are often not easily explained.
The Grand Ronde River! It's beautiful.
We're almost to La Grande. La Grande's sort of like coming home to a place we're really familiar with. It's very, very exciting.
Here we are, back in a town so familiar, yet like any place, it's always changing. As we drive through town, we point out to each other what's the same and what has changed. It feels almost like we never left it, and yet also like we have been away a long time. Guess those are the feelings that come with homecomings. Every mile we drive gets us closer to our destination and camping location where we will be staying for the next month. It feels like our story is coming full circle. As we drive, we take in the wonders of this valley where so many of our life adventures and dreams began many years ago. Here we are, returning to this place where so much of our lives began. Though now we have a home on wheels and the knowledge of what we are capable of achieving when we set out to do something new, creative, and brave. Like a family member or best friend that always seems to know you even if you have been apart for years, so too does this place seem to know us. It feels like it is reaching out into our hearts and welcoming us back to this beautiful valley with open arms and many simple and grand wonders to appreciate with our fresh open eyes and hearts. We are so excited to be back, even if this is just for a visit in our great big journey.
We got here to the RV park yesterday, and there was some challenges right off the bat. The angle of our parking spot required quite the back end, as well as it was really short and really unlevel. So we had some challenges to deal with, all while the wind was picking up and there were little thunder cells coming through. But we made it happen, and that was really exciting and empowering. Even though it was a challenge and a bit stressful, we did it. And then we had to eat. So here we are the next morning in our new parking spot, our new habitat for the next month, and we're so excited. We did it. We got here in 2 days.
I was really pleased with how well the truck handled with the house. And it went so well that one of the most exciting and thrilling parts about it was I kept picturing like how our little house is going through all these different habitats. It's a traveling house. How we're driving through the city. What does it look like as it's driving through the city in traffic? And then it's driving up over a mountain. And then we're seeing the trees change from the firs to the pines. We're driving through that habitat. We're going along a river, and then we're crossing the big river. And I guess just the excitement of knowing that our little tiny house on wheels is getting to see new places. It's coming along with us. A fun thing that happened on the drive. So we were just getting started, and we're heading down I-5 out of Bellingham, and coming up alongside, I could see in the side view mirror was this convertible, and it's like much lower, and it comes up, it's coming up, and it just sort of stopped, like not stopped, but it was like right with us there, and you could see the gal, and she was like waving, and she had her little boy in the car, and he was giving us a thumbs up, and I guess it was just kind of fun to be a part of their thrill and their wonderment of seeing a tiny house traveling down the highway.
I feel so empowered. We are doing it. We're taking our house on the road, on trips. It feels so good and so exciting and empowering because we have our dream and we're making it happen.
Facing my fears? Well, I guess one of the big things of this first major trip that we are taking is that when you're driving along, everything's going great, and you know that you need to pull off at the next exit for whatever, and you go like, oh no, I'm going to be in new territory. I don't know exactly what's going to take place, like how tight of a situation at the gas station, or what's it going to be like when we arrive at this next RV park. And I guess facing that fear of the unknown is one of the challenges that we're taking on. And what I find when I have to go through that is it goes so much better than I feared. And I get off at an exit, and there we are, presented with each thing, and you deal with each challenge, and it goes fine. So I guess it's kind of exciting in that way.
We're now parked next to a beautiful pasture with horses.
If you enjoy this video and want to see more Wonderment-inspired adventures, then be sure to check out our Seed Tree Wonder Patreon page, where you can help support our creations, receive special gifts from us, and be a part of a growing community of people sharing reasons for wonderment with each other.
We just drove our house 450 miles diagonal across Washington into Northeast Oregon. And it's just so exciting because we've had this plan and this dream to have a wooden house on wheels that we could slow travel around with. But it's been a long time in preparing and getting ready. And by going on this trip, we finally got to take off and do this plan, this dream that we've been planning for a while. And that feels so exciting to have just done this 450 miles in the last 2 days, and it went really good. And this is our jumping off place to do many more adventures and travels like this. And that's an exciting wonderment. It was so fun bringing you along for this first big drive and towing of our house, Turtle Tree. Now we're in this location for about a month, and we're really excited to go on some adventures and explore and share our journey of finding wonders with you.
Be sure to subscribe to our Sea Tree Wonder channel because you won't want to miss what we have coming up to share with you. Subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment of one of your wonderments. We are building a community of people finding and sharing wonderments with each other here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and also on Patreon through the special Sea Tree Wondrous community. See you next time, friends, for a new, inspiring, epic Finding Wonder video episode adventure.